Hey everybody, welcome to another episode from Ampro Engineering. Today we're going to talk about a product that I've recently designed that actually has existed for decades. Let me take the body off of Project Mud Blaster over here, and we can see one of these very common CRP rear body mount braces. These have been around probably since the mid to late 1980s, and they've done just a great job of securing the rear body mounts. Unfortunately, they're becoming a bit hard to find. These I purchased new probably in the early 1990s. So, you know, it's nice to have them, but I have 3 other big wheel ORV cars, and none of them have these parts. On the other side of the car, you can see this is a prototype that I've recently made, and very happily today some parts came in from Shapeways. Now I have 2 versions. The part I have in the truck here is very similar to the prototype that arrived today, but you know, in building this body mount brace, I did realize that this is the double wishbone rear suspension that I've got on this truck, and I forgot to leave a spot for the horizontally mounted shock on stock vehicles. Therefore, I have a version for anybody who has the double wishbone suspension right here, and I have a version for those of you who are running a laydown shock. The part number for the laydown, or for the stock version, I'm going to go ahead and flash on the screen right now. Those of you who have taken the plunge for my double wishbone suspension, I've got the part number on the screen now. Since most of you have the stock big wheel ORVs, I'm going to go ahead and just take a stock Blackfoot and we'll install these braces. Now I have prepared this Blackfoot here. The part that I've taken off here is the brace that would normally secure the laydown shock, so that goes away. And we're going to take our parts over here. Remember, you are going to get them on this sprue, so let's break that off there. And we can see that we have 2 different sides here. Okay. If the Ampro logo is right side up, then you've got it on the correct side. So we are going to place this right here. And as you all know how much I love working through the viewfinder, this will be gobs of fun. As I'm installing this, you are noticing that the mechanical speed control resistor is floating in space. There is one difference between this body mount design that I've created and the CRP that I've taken inspiration from. The CRP unit had a spot to mount your MSC resistor. Well, this one does not have that. So we got that screwed in there, right there. Okay, and then we are also going to put another screw, and these are all pretty common 12mm self-tapping M3s. Always remember to back thread. Don't want to cross thread anything. So we'll turn that right in there. Okay, and there we have it. So the next thing I want to install is the shock absorber, and I'm going to use another self-tapping screw right here. And it's going to be pretty important. In this case here, you're going to see that this thing it seems to be stripped, and that's actually not the case. I have specifically made these holes 3mm because I do not want to force the material here to bear the brunt of this self-tapping load here. So the point of this is to install a machine screw with a nut on the back side, and that's what's going to hold down the shock. So let me go ahead and grab one. So the shock has been installed, and now we are going to put in the upper brace. So this upper mount here is also going to require a machine screw with a nut on the back side, and do make sure that you put a washer on. That's just going to help to better distribute the load. And I'll snug up the nut on the back side off camera. I did notice one thing on the rear brace, this piece right here. I actually had this on the wrong side, so make sure that you have it on the correct side at the rear in order to allow this to properly mate up. I just hadn't noticed that since I was working on my my other Blackfoot most of this time. For here, we're also going to use a self-tapping screw. This is the one that came out in the first place. There's a washer on that. All right, let's thread this in. Okay, there's one, and there's two. Now with this brace installed, you're going to find that the flex, I'm just going to mess with this one here a little bit. So this is on the unsupported side, obviously, and here is the, I can't even move that, moving the whole truck. There we go, this is the supported side. So you're going to see a heck of a lot more rigidity. This will be really important when you roll the vehicle over, before you put a lot of stress and strain on not only the body mount, but also on the attachment point on the chassis, and that would really cause quite a few of these chassis to eventually weaken in this area here and snap off. And of course, at that point there, you've got to replace your entire chassis. I know that some of you are probably thinking, well, the older CRP unit had some braces for the front shock tower. They kind of came off the center section here and bolted to the shock tower. I'm well aware of that, and I have to say that I was never a fan. I have a idea that I'm still working on. You know, we'll see. We'll see. There are some provisions on these. I don't know how well you can see it. There's a little indent on the backside because I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to do something similar. So in the event I do come out with something, these will be easy enough to drill out and mount to your front brace for in the event that happens. Please, I do want to tell you that none of these components are compatible with the CRP units. These are my own design. They have different geometry, they have different features. They've been optimized for 3D printed materials, and again, they're not compatible with the CRP units. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and install the same brace on my double wishbone suspension ORV, and we'll take a look at that. Project Mud Blaster, we've also got them installed. Now these are a little bit different. Instead of the single mount on top, they do in fact have dual mounts, so it's mounted twice up here, mounted twice right there, and then you have your 3 mounts here on this lower brace. The lower brace between this version and the other are identical. The only part that's different is this diagonal cross member. This one's just a little bit different because it doesn't need that shock absorber mount right here. In terms of compatibility, obviously it's compatible with the Blackfoot rear body mounts, and I'm fairly certain that it is compatible with the Mud Blaster. However, I simply don't own any Mud Blaster body mounts, hence the fact that Project Mud Blaster is a Blackfoot. So we're getting there, but I can't test that out. Now the Monster Beetle has completely different horizontal members here which protrude outward, and clearly it's going to get in the way of this horizontal bar. So that particular upgrade is going to be coming soon. I'm going to make a separate piece here that will basically go around the Monster Beetle's horizontal body mount and allow it to be secured. Now those never existed. That'll be a nice little upgrade for the Monster Beetle because I know those are going to have the same problem with the body mounts putting too much strain here on the chassis, so that'll be a nice future upgrade. You're probably wondering if the body fits. If we can find the holes, there we go. All right, so you can see body mount, all protruding very nicely. Let's try that on the factory, or more factory fresh Blackfoot, I should say. And there we have it. Plops right in there. So we do have, and trust me, I know you're recognizing this Blackfoot body is the one that's split in half, but don't worry, these are going to fit very nicely. I hope you enjoyed this upgrade. There's actually a few more things that I have coming out for this truck very soon. You can see just a little hint here. You can see that it's missing that skid plate. Well, there's a reason it's missing its skid plate. We've got a cool one coming out pretty soon. And if anybody out there has always felt that the Hornet should have double wishbone rear suspension, oh, it's happening. I would like you to meet, for the first time ever, you're going to get mad when you see this, Superfly version 3.0. Yeah, you got to start somewhere. This is a vintage chassis in terrible condition. There's a nice fat, I don't know if we can see that, there's a nice split right through it right here. It's cracked at all 4 posts here at the shock tower. And the reason I like to use these bad chassis is because, you know, they're going to get modified a bit. I'm going to put some holes in it for the cantilever front suspension. And I also want to prove a point that a number of these structural members for the Hornet that I've produced, like the cage, they do provide a tremendous amount of rigidity for a chassis that is in fact in poor condition. Superfly version 2.0 has a miserable chassis with lots of cracks, and that car has survived, well, several years of punishment, so coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post below. I'm always doing my best to respond to comments. Please subscribe if you like the content that you see here. I know this channel is a little bit unique in that we've got things here that simply never been done before, which is kind of cool. I really like all these upgrades, and I think that some of you out there also enjoy them. So again, please subscribe if you like this. You can also follow me on Instagram at Ampro Engineering, as well as on Facebook at Ampro Engineering. I do try and post there as often as I possibly can as I'm working on various projects or shouting loudly at various projects. I have a ton of stuff coming up, and again, if you are interested in some of these parts here, you can find them on Shapeways. There is a link in the description. You can pick them up at a number of different colors. I do sell on eBay, but I'm really trying to get away from that because eBay charges a fortune in fees for these parts, and basically I have to mark them up heavily in order to not lose money. So I do post on eBay simply to show these components off, but it's going to be a little bit cheaper for you to purchase them on Shapeways. And also buying them on Shapeways, as I open this up here, will give you options like, in some cases, different materials, but in almost all cases, different colors. So these are these particular braces here in this nice purple color. But again, I'm sure you've noticed a lot of the other projects do have a variety of additional colors. Before you take off, please check out the band Blue Pinto. They are the ones that allow me to use their songs in my videos, and a link to their Facebook page is in the credits. Thank you again, and we will see you next time with another crazy, ridiculous upgrade.